right now. So in our undergraduate, during our undergraduate courses, we have been to various medical camps, and we have always felt the need of ophthalmologic residents out there. We've always found people with a vitamin A deficiency or with any other ocular manifestation of diseases, and we always have felt that this is a residency that we can never avoid when we are talking about primary healthcare centers, or we are talking about any other basic healthcare structure of the country, because it's so common in our country. So of course there is a huge amount of scope of serving the society through this. The next question I would like to ask is regarding the scope of research, particularly because I also have been involved in an ophthalmologic research, and I have found that there are many unexplored arenas in ophthalmology. So even speaking about ICMR STS studies, which undergraduate students do and explore how much amount of option of research ophthalmology as an undergraduate subject provides, I would like to ask you to explain the scope of research in ophthalmology as a post-graduation subject.
Okay, let's not take ophthalmology as a post-graduation subject. One taking up ophthalmology takes up ophthalmology for life. There's just 3 years of post-graduation, and then it is full. Then it is totally ophthalmology only. So we would discuss our scope of research all throughout. Research scope in ophthalmology is huge. You get a variety of clinical cases to research and publish your papers on. Still, main thing is there are still many mysteries of the eye that are yet still left to be discovered. Like newer anatomic structures, microscopic structures are still being discovered till this date. The diagnostic and the surgical instruments that we use in ophthalmology use high-end technologies, which are brought into practice every year. Robotics is slowly but steadily coming into ophthalmology. Every year during conferences, we find so many new surgical techniques, instruments, newer concepts coming up from various parts of the country. All this is because of research. Ophthalmology is a very fast advancing branch with new technology and techniques are coming in every year. As a second year PG, I am doing my thesis work. Along with that, I am enrolled in 3 research papers, 2 poster presentations, 2 articles as a co-author. Srijan.
Yeah. I will also like to ask you about the research scope at AIMS after a few questions when we will come to the life at AIMS. But as
Okay.
for now, I would like to deal with the challenges that this field offers. As we know that the AIMS PG results have just been out, and people
Okay.
are going to choose their subjects. They are going to, as you said, dedicate their entire
Yeah.
life and not just these 3 years of PG. So I would
Yeah.
like you to briefly mention the challenges that you face by taking ophthalmology.
Yeah, of course, there are some challenges in ophthalmology, like every other subject has. It has some difficulties, challenges. Like the subject may feel a little difficult to start reading and understanding as a PG. When you come into PG and you start taking up, after taking up ophthalmology, you may find it little difficult and to understand. You may find the surgeries, the instruments quite complex. This is all because it is a superficially, very superficially read subject in UG. We just read some topics, every one of us read just some topics in UG. But not to worry about this. Once you start studying, you start enjoying the subject. The second problem I would like to tell about is there is a surgical learning plateau. Everything is under the microscope. So you have to understand you haven't worked under a microscope or you haven't assisted ophthalmic surgeries in your UG directly, like you have done in your surgery, general surgery, gynae, or ENT. You have done something or the other. You have worked as an assistant. You have helped as a uh, assistant to the surgeon. But in ophthalmology, you haven't worked under a microscope. So first thing comes into the hand-eye coordination. You have to look into the microscope and do your total work. So this takes some time, and so the learning is slow. And every step you do is very delicate, very intricate steps. Slightest movement of your fingers might cause some difficulty. So you have to train yourself day in day out to uh, be able to do this surgeries flawlessly. So the learning is slow. It takes a time, lot of time, effort, and maybe sometimes frustrating for some. But patience and determination is the key. The third point I would like to tell is after PG, or when you are going to start your practice, this is a huge investment you have to put into ophthalmology to start your practice. If you are planning a private practice, it requires a heavy investment. As ophthalmology, is totally dependent upon high-end technology machines, and these machines do come at quite a high cost. Like telling about the basic machines like direct ophthalmoscope, which as a PG you have to buy within 15 days, 1 month. That is one of the instruments you buy during your when you join your ophthalmology PG. It comes at a cost of 18,000. An indirect ophthalmoscope, it comes at a cost of with the 20D lens comes at a cost of around 70 to 75,000. The lenses, the gonio lens, the 90D lens, this all costs around 15 to 17,000 each. The basic slit lamp you see in your setup, the one without the camera and all, they come for a price of around 1 lakh 20, 1 lakh 30,000, and the high end ones which come with camera and some other diagnostic modalities come at a much higher price. But never to worry, when you are starting your practice, you will have patience, you will have a good private practice that will aid you in buying this high-end machines. And ophthalmology is a fast advancing branch, so you have to keep yourself up to date with the recent technology coming every year. For this, you have seminars, conferences. These are the few challenges in overall students and upcoming PGs would face.
Thank you for
Srijan.
the answer. Specifically, I would like to mention that these challenges are the things that make your residency more full. Like, unless and until such challenges would have existed, the thing would have been only a success and won't be providing you the excitements to pursue this field. So, everything has its own pros and cons. So, the next question I would like to ask is basically synonymous to the question that we ask our seniors before getting into MBBS. So, it's like what to expect and what not to expect while choosing a career. Similarly, what to expect and what not to expect while choosing ophthalmology.
Okay. Among what to expect, you can in ophthalmology, you of course expect a satisfying career. The patient doctor satisfaction is quite good. You can keep on learning and acquiring new skills for a fairly long time. Specialty offers you an option to practice medical and surgical options. You can choose from. It is according to your convenience. Now comes in this context, I would like to throw light upon a thing is you take up a PG branch. You don't just take it as a PG. You take it up for your whole life. You are going to practice it for your whole life. So you have to plan accordingly. Like in you have to plan for your life even after 60s. What happens after 60s is you retire from your government job. If you are in a surgical field, some surgeons may face some difficulty in continuing surgeries at such a high age. In ophthal, you may shift to the only medical part and spend your rest of your life in medical ophthal. You have an option to shift. You have good amount of time for your hobbies and family. Economically, you will be on the higher side. You don't deal with deaths on table. Dealing with deaths comes with its own demerits and may harm you professionally and psychologically. And these are what to expect, and what not to is do not expect any easy learning of the subject and the surgeries. It requires time, effort, dedication. You have to join an institute after PG to refine and expand your surgical skill base. Uh, this is mainly because in ophthalmology, let me be honest with you, you won't be learning a huge set of surgeries. In during your residency, there is a fixed set of surgeries that all colleges across India teach you. There comes your cataract, that means the SICS. Few institutes teach you FECO fairly enough to go out and practice FECO without any more guidance. You will learn some oculoplastic surgeries like ptosis, pterygium, uh, and you will learn DCR. You will also go through learn some uh, vitrectomy. You may assist in cases you have a setup in your facility. But intravitreal injections you can give, and some lid mass. This thing you can manage. This your teaching institute teach, but mostly the posterior segment of the eye, the vitrectomy, the retina, they are not taught in your PG curriculum. Nowhere it is not taught. If you are lucky, if your setup has a vitrectomy setup, you can you will get to assist cases. You will learn the steps, but you won't get to do case independently. So you have to join somewhere after PG to refine and expand your skill. And in glaucoma, you learn RAB, but not the shunts and all you have to learn post PG. And among what not to expect, other surgical learning, as you know, is long, tedious, sometimes frustrating. Setting up your private practice would be little costly. This is what you should and should not expect from your subject.
One thing that I really liked about the last answer was that you mentioned the fact that we don't have to deal with debts on table as so frequently as other streams. So regarding that particular point, and also another particular point is specifically that in my college, Calcutta Medical College at RIO, our director of RIO, Oshim sir, he has a wonderful life outside his ophthalmology career as well. He's a singer, he's a philanthropist, and he does a lot of work. So, regarding these two things about how you deal with the success of a patient and how you deal with other job, how you deal with your work, what is the perfect work-life balance that you get in ophthalmology? I've heard many people say that ophthalmology gives you free time, but is it possible to have a proper work-life balance in ophthalmology?
Coming to work-life balance, ophthalmology gives you a better work-life balance than many of the specialties. At work, you are in a clinical field. Patient satisfaction brings you a lot of peace. Performing intricate, delicate surgeries bring you a feel of accomplishment. In life, there is good amount of time after work to relax, rejuvenate, travel, study, time for your hobbies, for your family, for different events. Ophthal generally deals with short OTs. Cataracts in expert hands takes around 20 minutes of time. You can start your morning by with OPD services in your setup. Complete your OPD by afternoon. Do some take up your surgeries by evening, and you can easily get home by 7 and then have the rest of the day for yourself. And if you want to push yourself, if you want to do more of cases, if you want to expand your practice, get to work day in day out. You can work as much as you like. You have cases, you have work platforms,